Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation titled Moving from Theory to Action, the How-To. This is part II, the practice, and our focus for today is the art of being alone. We'll explore practical ways to embrace solitude and turn theory into meaningful action. I look forward to guiding you through the insights and strategies that can help you make this journey. Let's get started. Slide 2 of 23. Solitude is not something that just happens when people leave the room. It's actually a discipline. It's a skill set that we need to train, just like we would train a muscle. In part I, we looked at solitude as a sanctuary, an inner space of peace and focus. Now, in part II, we're going to focus on how to build that sanctuary intentionally. This shift from passive to active is crucial. It means moving from waiting for solitude to happen naturally, to deliberately creating it. Because if we want to truly benefit from solitude, we have to see it as something we can develop and strengthen. It's about making a conscious effort, rather than hoping it'll just occur. So, let's explore how we can actively cultivate this skill and make solitude a consistent part of our lives. Welcome to Slide 3. Today, we're focusing on mastering the art of reliance, starting with practice I, self-sufficiency. So what does that really mean? Well, self-sufficiency is about building the confidence and skills to depend on ourselves. It's recognizing that while we can seek help, the core strength comes from within. This practice encourages us to develop resilience, being able to handle challenges independently whenever possible. It's not about avoiding help altogether, but rather about understanding our own capabilities first. When we become more self-sufficient, we gain a sense of control and empowerment that fuels our overall reliance on others in a balanced way. Remember, this concept ties directly into our larger theme of reliance. True reliance isn't just about depending on others blindly. It's about cultivating internal strength so that when external support is needed, it's a foundation, not a crutch. Developing self-sufficiency is, therefore, a crucial step toward becoming more reliable and confident in our roles. Let's talk about the lesson here, self-sufficiency. Often, it's something that stays dormant inside us until we're put into a situation where we can't rely on others. That's when the real test happens. You can imagine the panic that might set in initially, feeling lost, uncertain. But then necessity kicks in. We start to adapt. We read physical maps, use gestures, and find our way despite the obstacles. Picture a traveler in a foreign city. Their phone dies, and they don't speak the language. It's a perfect example of how self-sufficiency can emerge when we're pushed out of our comfort zone. This idea ties into the overall theme of resilience and growth. Sometimes, we don't realize how capable we are until we're faced with challenges that demand we step up and rely on ourselves. Have you ever noticed how quickly we turn to Google when we're confused about something? It's almost instinctive. Or how easily we get bored and just scroll through social media instead of sitting with our thoughts. And when we're feeling down, calling a friend seems like the fastest fix. What's happening here is that we've lost the ability to sit quietly with a problem, to really think things through on our own. Modern life has conditioned us to outsource almost everything, our questions, our feelings, even our problem solving. This is what I call the ask reflex, the automatic tendency to seek answers outside ourselves right away. Understanding this reflex is key, because it's a big part of how we've become so used to instant gratification and short-circuiting our own thinking processes. Throughout this presentation, we're exploring how to recognize this pattern, and more importantly, how to slow down and develop the skill of sitting with uncertainty. By doing so, we can regain control, deepen our understanding, and build resilience in the face of life's challenges. All right, let's talk about sitting with the anxiety. Instead of rushing to fix everything right away, try to stay with the uncomfortable feelings. For example, if the sink breaks or you have a rough day, give yourself a moment to process those emotions. Maybe even attempt to fix the sink yourself or handle the problem on your own first. You might be surprised at what you're capable of when you face these small challenges directly. The idea here is to build your confidence and resilience. The practice I want to suggest is simple but powerful. For 1 week, when you encounter a minor emotional or practical problem, hold off on asking for help for 24 hours. See if you can manage it on your own first. This isn't about ignoring your needs. It's about trusting yourself and realizing that you often have more resources than you think. This approach connects to the overall theme of developing independence and self-trust. The DIY ethos isn't about doing everything alone, but about recognizing your own capacity to handle life's everyday challenges. So, give it a try, and you might discover a new sense of strength and capability within yourself. All right, let's explore practice II, the discipline of quiet. In our busy world, finding moments of quiet isn't just about silence. It's about intentionally turning down the volume of everything around us. This practice helps us reconnect with ourselves and gain clarity. When we discipline ourselves to seek quiet, we create space for reflection, creativity, and even spiritual renewal. It's a way to counteract the constant noise and distraction that can overwhelm us daily. Remember, cultivating quiet isn't about avoiding life's chaos. It's about choosing moments of peace that allow us to reset and focus on what truly matters. This discipline ties back to our overall theme of managing our inner world amidst external chaos. So, I encourage you to embrace the practice of quiet as a vital tool for maintaining balance and fostering inner peace. Quiet is not just the absence of noise, it is the stillness of the water. Our minds are very much like stirred water, constantly moving, filled with thoughts, distractions, and input. When our minds are stirred up, it's hard to see clearly or connect with our true selves. We can't see the bottom, the core of who we really are, until we stop stirring the water. Lao Tzu's words remind us that if you let muddy water stand still, it will become clear. The idea here is that in stillness, clarity emerges. When we allow ourselves moments of quiet and reflection, our minds settle, and we gain insight. This metaphor about muddy water connects deeply to the overall theme of this presentation, which is about finding clarity amidst chaos. It's about understanding that sometimes we need to pause, embrace silence, to see things more clearly, to connect with our authentic selves. You know, Thoreau once said, "I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude." I think that really captures the essence of what he was after. He deliberately stripped away all the non-essential things, like the post office, the news, and gossip, that clutter our minds and distract us from ourselves. By removing that noise of society, he was able to hear his own thoughts clearly for the first time. What's really important here is that Thoreau didn't go to the woods to hide from the world, but rather to live deliberately. He sought a purposeful, mindful way of life, an opportunity to connect deeply with himself and nature. This story of Thoreau at Walden ties into our overall theme of seeking authenticity and clarity in our lives. Sometimes, stepping back and embracing solitude can be the key to understanding ourselves better and living more intentionally. So, on slide 10, we're talking about dedicating one full day each week to being completely offline, which is often referred to as the Sabbath. This is about intentionally unplugging and disconnecting from digital devices to reconnect with ourselves, our loved ones, and the world around us. We're looking at different levels of digital disconnection here. Level 2 is quite strict, no phone at all for the first and last hour of the day. This helps us start and end our day mindfully, without the constant distraction of notifications or screens. Then there's level 1, which is a bit more relaxed but still important. No practicing solitude with a smartphone in your hand. The key idea is to be present and truly engage in the moment, rather than being absorbed in our devices. The overall goal of the digital Sabbath is to create space for rest, reflection, and genuine connection, something that's increasingly vital in our always connected world. It's about reclaiming our time and attention, and understanding that true solitude and rest often come from intentionally unplugging. Why is it that genius often needs isolation? Well, today we're diving into practice III, creative incubation. This concept is all about giving ourselves the space and time away from constant distractions to let ideas simmer and develop. When we isolate ourselves, we create a mental environment where our creativity can bloom without interruptions. It's during these periods of intentional solitude that our subconscious can work through complex problems and come up with innovative solutions. This aligns perfectly with our overall theme, that true creative brilliance often requires stepping back from the chaos to focus deeply. So remember, sometimes the best ideas come not when we're busy, but when we're quiet and alone, incubating those sparks of inspiration. Let's talk about how we behave in different social settings. When we're in a group, we tend to subconsciously mimic others around us. It's a natural way to fit in and feel accepted. But when we're alone, our minds are free from those social pressures. This solitude allows us to make strange, original connections that we might not consider in a group setting, and there's no fear of judgment holding us back. Now, many people think that brainstorming with others is the best way to generate ideas, but research actually shows the opposite. People tend to come up with more and better ideas when they work alone. This is because solo work fosters original thinking without the influence of groupthink or conformity. Speaking of groupthink, it's a phenomenon where the desire for harmony and conformity in a group leads to poor decision-making. It can stifle creativity and suppress unique ideas. On the other hand, embracing solo genius, working alone, can unleash more innovative and authentic ideas. This ties back to our overall theme, understanding how different environments shape our creativity and decision-making. Sometimes, stepping back and working alone can lead to breakthroughs that might be lost in the noise of group dynamics. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. When we find ourselves alone without distractions, our ability to think clearly and creatively improves significantly. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. It's during these quiet moments that ideas truly come to life. Nikola Tesla was a strong advocate of solitude. He believed that stepping away from the noise and chaos of everyday life allowed his mind to focus deeply and generate innovative solutions. His example highlights an important concept. Sometimes, to unlock our greatest potential, we need to embrace solitude. This idea connects directly to our overall theme of fostering creativity and breakthrough thinking. Remember, the quiet moments can be the birthplace of your most groundbreaking ideas. All right, let's talk about how to actually make this work. The idea is to schedule monk mode blocks in your calendar. Think of these as unmovable meetings, but the difference is you're the one attending. You treat this time with the same seriousness as a client meeting or an important appointment. If you don't protect this time, the world, emails, interruptions, distractions, will take it away from you. Now, why is this so important? Because solitude is the only environment where deep work can truly happen. And by deep work, I mean those cognitively demanding tasks that require your full focus. No distractions, no interruptions. Remember, if you want to produce high-quality work, solve complex problems, or learn deeply, you need to carve out space for uninterrupted concentration. Scheduling these blocks and safeguarding them is key. That's how you create the mental space needed for real progress. Now, let's explore Practice IV, Rituals of Reflection. This is all about creating intentional ways to connect with our inner selves through reflective practices. The idea here is that by establishing regular rituals, we can deepen our understanding of our thoughts, feelings, and reactions. These rituals help us become more aware of our inner dialogue and how it influences our behavior. Remember, the goal is to make reflection a natural part of our daily routine, not just a one-time activity. Incorporating these rituals can lead to greater self-awareness and personal growth, which ties back to our overall theme of conversations with the self. The key is consistency, making reflection a habit that supports our ongoing development. Walking isn't just about getting from one place to another. It actually serves as a powerful cognitive tool. When we walk, the rhythm of our steps helps to quiet down the frontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for complex thinking and decision-making. This quieting allows our subconscious mind to surface more freely. Essentially, walking becomes a form of moving meditation, a time when you can process your thoughts and even walk out your problems. Throughout history, some of the greatest thinkers, Aristotle, Nietzsche, Steve Jobs, have all valued the practice of walking alone. They understood that solitude and movement foster clarity and creativity, That's what we call the solitary walk. It's a simple yet profound way to nurture your mind, reflect, and find solutions while engaging in something as natural as walking. This ties back to our overall theme. Sometimes, stepping away and moving forward go hand in hand. Journaling in solitude is much more than just recording events. It's like holding a meeting with your inner self. When you sit down to write, you're really asking yourself, why did I feel that way? And then giving yourself the space to honestly answer. It's a way of having a conversation within, understanding your emotions and thoughts more deeply. We often don't realize what we truly think or feel until we put it into words on paper. Writing helps us clarify our feelings and uncover insights that might be hidden in our minds. This idea of journaling as a conversation is powerful because it turns the act of writing into a dialogue with yourself. It's a practice of self-awareness, reflection, and understanding, which ties into the overall theme of using journaling as a tool for personal growth and emotional clarity. Now, let's talk about detaching from the need for validation. This is a crucial step in our overall journey of personal growth. Practice V focuses on managing dependencies. What does that mean exactly? Well, it's about recognizing how much we rely on others' approval or validation to feel good about ourselves. When we become aware of these dependencies, we can start to loosen their grip. The key here is to develop an internal sense of worth that isn't constantly tied to external feedback. Instead, we learn to validate ourselves from within. This doesn't mean we stop caring about others' opinions altogether, but rather that we don't let them define us or our self-esteem. By managing these dependencies, we take back control. We build resilience and confidence that isn't fragile or easily shaken. Remember, the goal is to cultivate a sense of self that's stable, regardless of external validation. This aligns perfectly with our broader theme of personal empowerment and authentic self-awareness. Solitude teaches you to drop your anchor in your own seabed. What does that mean? It means learning to find stability within yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. When you have that internal anchor, you're steady, grounded, no matter the storms or chaos in your environment. Now, think about if your anchor is tied to someone else's boat, your partner, your boss, your friend. When they move or change direction, you drift along with them, right? That's instability. You're not centered, you're dependent on their stability. So the key question here is, where is your anchor? Is it internal, rooted within yourself? Or is it external, tied to others? Building that internal anchor is crucial because it allows you to remain calm, focused, and resilient, no matter what external circumstances throw your way. Let's take a moment to reflect on this quote from Jean-Paul Sartre. If you are lonely when you're alone, you are in bad company. It's a powerful reminder that true contentment with oneself is essential. When we're comfortable alone, it means we're in good company, ourselves. The key idea here ties directly into managing dependencies. The goal isn't to be completely independent in the sense of needing no one at all. Rather, it's about reaching a point where we genuinely want others around us because they enrich our lives, not because we feel we can't survive without them. This shift from necessity to desire is crucial. It means we want others to join us, to share experiences, but we don't depend on them for our sense of worth or happiness. This kind of balance fosters healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. As we continue exploring how to build resilience and independence, remember that the ultimate aim is to cultivate a mindset where our happiness isn't contingent on external dependencies. Instead, we find fulfillment internally and choose to connect with others from a place of abundance, not lack. All right, let's talk about the key points on this slide. First, I want you to really observe your surroundings. Pay attention to the details around you. Taste your food intentionally, savoring each bite. Be fully present with yourself in the moment. It's about surviving through any discomfort that might come up, because eventually, that discomfort can turn into genuine enjoyment. Now, moving to the goal, leave your phone behind, either in the car or at home. No safety net, no distractions. This is about forcing yourself into real experiences without the crutch of technology. And the rule, pick a date, just one day, and go somewhere alone. It could be a restaurant, a museum, or even a cinema. The idea is to carve out time just for yourself to enjoy your own company. We call this the solo date, and it's a challenge designed to push you out of your comfort zone. It's about reconnecting with yourself, being present, and learning to enjoy your own company without distractions. So the main takeaway here is that these solo experiences can transform your relationship with yourself, helping you build confidence and mindfulness. It's a simple but powerful way to practice being fully present and comfortable in your own skin. And here we are at the end of part II. I'd like to leave you with a thought from Edward Gibbon, who famously said, "Solitude is the school of genius." What this really highlights is the importance of taking time for ourselves, away from distractions, to foster creativity and deep thinking. Throughout this part of the presentation, we've seen how solitude can be a powerful environment for developing ideas, gaining clarity, and ultimately unlocking our potential. It connects directly to our overall theme of personal growth and innovation. Remember, sometimes stepping back and embracing solitude isn't just about being alone. It's about creating space for our best ideas to emerge. Let's take a closer look at some of the sources and images that have inspired this presentation. First, we have an image from Etsy, which really highlights the creative and handmade aspect of many products, emphasizing the importance of craftsmanship. Moving on, there's a fascinating photo from Smithsonian Magazine that showcases historical artifacts, reminding us of the value of preserving our cultural heritage. Next, we see an image from Britannica featuring a replica cabin of Henry David Thoreau in Concord, Massachusetts. This connects to the theme of simplicity and connection to nature, which is often reflected in our lifestyles and philosophies. We also have a beautiful shot from Sakurako of a serene rock garden, illustrating the calming influence of natural landscapes and traditional design. Finally, there's a vibrant photo from Be My Travel Muse, showing a lively street scene in the United States, capturing the diverse experiences and opportunities available in travel and exploration. All these sources and images come together to reinforce the idea that our environment, history, craftsmanship, and cultural diversity shape our experiences and perspectives. They remind us of the richness found in various aspects of life and how they contribute to our overall understanding of the world.